It's Thursday night, and the Beards are back, and so is crappy football on Amazon Prime. There's been, what, 4 turnovers in the first half of this game? It's ugly. It's preseason week 5, everybody. I am your man, Mayhem, and with me, as always, is Monty. Monty, how are we doing?
What's up, dude? You want to know what's ugly is I have to look at fucking Nick Sirianni's face on my TV.
I don't know what's worse, man. You know, and here's the deal, is I was hyped for week 1. I was watching all the games that I could. I signed up for Red Zone on Hulu. So now I'm paying an extra $10 a month for that. So I'm jumping around. Scott Hansen, everybody's best football friend. Shout out to Scott. Watching the goofy stuff that happens in week 1 of the NFL. Like, I'm talking about, like, real goofy stuff. You know, talking about something, where is it? Something like this.
On third down, Smith, pressure comes late, and it's incomplete. That pressure coming from Aaron Donald.
Geno Smith staring down Aaron Donald going, "Oh my God," which is pretty much what everybody says when Aaron Donald is running straight at you unblocked. You know, wanted to talk about the silly, fun stuff from week 1.
With Matt Ryan and Tiki Barber, I'm Andrew Catalan. We'll hear from AJ Ross coming up. We were just chopping some burgers at halftime, saying this game feels like it should be 28-3 in favor of Minnesota. Why is it still 10-10? Turnovers.
How are you going to do that? It's Matt Ryan's first day in the broadcast booth, and you're going to hit him with a 28-3. I wanted to talk about this silly stuff over football like this. I got something else. Watch this.
He throws, it's caught, and Bryce Young has his first NFL touchdown pass to Hayden Hurst. Put pressure on the defense.
Hayden Hurst catches Bryce Young's first professional touchdown and throws the ball into the stands. That's what I wanted to talk about this week. Instead, we got to talk about this.
Obviously, this question's coming. Could you talk about what happened with the block field goal?
They made a play, and we're on Arizona. I mean, it's I kind of turned the page on that on Monday afternoon, and it's a lot of different things we'd like to have back. That's definitely one of them.
Is it just from looking at it? It looked like maybe Josh blocked outside.
Yeah, I've turned the page on that, so I'm done with it, and it's over, and we learn from it, and we'll get better.
As a rule of thumb, though, do you want guys blocking closer to the ball?
Like I said, I'm done talking about it, and we're moving on to Arizona.
A different way. They said after the game, some of the players, that they had seen something on film that they felt they could exploit. So that's not just last week. That could be going forward. Do you have to change anything? Does that concern you that they felt like they saw something?
Like I said, we watched it. We'll learn from it, and we'll be better moving forward.
Are you
watching the film? What did you take away from this?
We watched it. We're going to learn from it, and we're going to move forward.
Are you convinced Graham is okay?
I think I put the wrong coach on the wanted poster, or I should at least have put 2. Between Bobby Johnson and Thomas McGahee, for a fact when the position coaches are available for press conferences later on in the week, he's going to get a barrage of questions if they even put him out there in the first place. Monty, what are we doing with these guys?
They're embarrassing excuses for coaches. And look, it was an embarrassing game, but those 2 have been a concern for a lot of Giants fans for a long time, and it just got magnified. Those 2 completely ruined the game. I don't know why they're still employed, to be honest with you.
You got to come up with a better answer than that, man.
Dude, that's worse than
the Joe Judge, like I gotta look at the tape.
Yeah.
I gotta look at the tape. No, he's already looked at the tape.
Yeah.
And he just doesn't want to answer the question.
Yeah,
He
what'd you
doesn't
see
want
on
to
the
stand
tape?
out. What'd you see in the tape? We looked at it and we learned from it, and we're going to move on to Arizona. God, that's not good enough. Okay, Giants fans right now are out for blood. We want answers. We want you to say, you know what? We blew it.
And you have
We
some
blew
really like well phrased questions there that are asking it like in a good, correct way for the answer to like, and they're just like, well, I'm not answering it. Essentially, I'm not answering.
I mean,
I'm not going to do it.
I like how the first person who asks the first person to ask a question is Chris Bisignato from Giant Insider, and he's like, this is coming. What happened? And he's like, well, we watched it, we learned from it, we're over it. Well, guess what, man? We're not over it. You better come out with some spectacular looking shit on special teams in Arizona, or they're going to leave you and Bobby Johnson right there at University of Arizona, and hopefully you guys can, bunk together in the freshman dorm and co-op a couple classes and learn something else, because this ain't cutting it.
They got out coached straight up, especially those guys, because like the Cowboys special teams coordinator, John Fossil, was talking about it, and he was saying essentially like they saw something on tape and they weren't sure if it was going to work. They saw a couple of things, but they went with it, and they're happy. So like they saw something that was a flaw in his game. Like he fucked up, and he's just not taking an ounce of accountability for it.
No, there's been no accountability at all whatsoever. Wouldn't be surprised if you don't see him in front of the cameras at all for the rest of the week. They're not going to let the press anywhere near Bobby Johnson about as bad as the O-line played, because he's going to come out with some equally repetitive horseshit of, we watched it, we learned from it, we're going to get better, because nobody believes you, man. Nobody believes you.
Yeah, man. Hey, there we go. Sal's here. Fire them both. That's true.
Fire them both.
Fire them. There's no goddamn accountability for these guys. I'm so sick and tired, and I'm so glad all fans are finally on the same page with these guys, because it's made me sick how much the defense these guys have gotten. They're like, well, it's the players' jobs to execute. Well, you know who it's job to prepare these players so they can execute? It's the coaches. And week after week, these guys don't look prepared. They're not executing, and that falls on the coaches. And that's been the issue with Thomas McGahee. I'm so tired of it. Well, the bottom of the roster is not good. So you know what? When Joe Judge was here, we were trading 5th-round picks for Keon Crossan to be a fucking pick. We were keeping 2 fullbacks. We were keeping fucking, I don't even remember his name. Then we had Cam Brown. We had all these special teams players that we only had for special teams, and our special teams still fucking sucked. So I'm done with this guy.
Yeah, it's amazing how this is how you get people talking about special teams. Nobody wants to talk about special teams. I sure as hell don't.
Ebner.
I mean, yeah, nobody wants to talk about special teams. But this is how you make us all talk about special teams, is that you just completely show your ass to the entire world and take no accountability for it. He knows what they saw. When Dan Duggan said that the player said that Dallas said that they saw something on tape and they were trying to exploit it, he knows what they saw. He's not going to say, well, it's because I, have been showing these guys how to try to do this, and I'm showing them the wrong way. But it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous, and there's no reason for us to spend this amount of time talking about special teams. And to top it all off, on the field goal block, Graham Gano and Andrew Thomas get hurt. They both kind of tried to power through the rest of the game, and obviously they didn't make it all the way through. You could tell Graham was hurting because he missed a chip shot field goal.
Yep, which he never does.
And of course, it happens when I have him as a kicker on my fantasy team.
Yep, I had him on mine too in a league that gave you negative points, so that wasn't great.
Oh yeah. Oh no, I got negative 2 points. I got negative 2 points. I can't remember how much I lost by, but it's nowhere near how much you won by. It's what happens when you pick the Dallas defense. You take a lot of shit on the front end, but
Yep, a lot of people weren't happy that I was going to play Dallas defense versus Giants, but it worked out for me.
I think it worked out pretty well for you on that one. I think it worked out pretty well for you on that one.
How we doing, Darius?
Darius, how we doing?
But yeah, fuck special teams. Fuck.
Yeah, I swear to God, I'm tired of talking about special teams. Tired of talking about how bad the O-line is. These two guys are actively stealing money from this organization. This is, I mean, I put it on the wanted poster. Robbery and assault.
It's
Bobby Johnson's trying to get Daniel Jones killed. I don't know why.
Yeah.
He's trying to get this guy killed.
I wish they were just stealing money. I wish it was like Kevin Abrams and he just has a fake position title. I wish that was the case. But no, they are actively hurting my favorite football team. Bobby Johnson is actively making Evan Neal a worse football player than the day he got here as a day one rookie. He is making Mark Lewinsky a worse player than he was for the Colts. He's worse than he was last year. He handpicked Josh Azudu, and he can't even beat out this Mark Lewinsky, who is playing at a level that shouldn't even be in the NFL right now. It is an embarrassment.
And if he handpicked Josh Azudu, he probably also handpicked Marcus McKeithen because the guys played on the same team in college, on the same line, and McKeithen was out all last year. He got hurt in training camp.
Yep.
Actually, he got hurt at FanFest, didn't he?
Yep, he did.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, so he was out all year, and
I don't even want to know what he's been helping John Michael Smits out with the snaps, because those aren't looking so good either.
Well, and I brought this up in a couple different spots, and this is kind of one of those things that I kind of wanted to save for our show, but when you're jumping in the chats and other people's streams, and I was on last night with Pest and Rob and Chris Peace. The whole game, you can basically trace everything back to one specific thing, and that was the false start penalty on Andrew Thomas. And then after that, the whole thing fell apart. It's like Keanu Reeves' speech in The Replacements, the quicksand. One thing happens, and then another domino falls, and another, and then you're just, it's a mess,
Yep.
One false start penalty, which was bogus to begin with, because now they're overcompensating because they get Lawan Taylor get away with it 150 times on Thursday night. It was not a false start, but they call it anyway. And then, it's raining, the ball's wet, you got a rookie center it's a bad snap. We managed to land on it, and then the blocked field goal, and then everything else went downhill from there.
Yep.
So I don't want to stand here and play what ifs about what if they didn't call that penalty on Andrew Thomas? What would they have done? We have no idea, but I do not think. I mean, we could have still lost that game, but I do not think it would have been nearly as bad as what happened. It was just an absolute mess from top to bottom. The whole thing is grotesque, and I don't want to think about it anymore. I don't. What I want to do is like Thomas McGahee says, we're on to Arizona.
Arizona.
So, as you guys know, Smooth couldn't make it tonight. He dropped a rant. So if you guys haven't seen that, check that out. That's in the live feed. So after you watch this, go check that out, because He's calling a lot of people out on the carpet. There was a lot. You know what? I could have been clipping stuff all week long. There was a lot of outlandish shit going on Twitter, X, whatever the hell you want to call it this week. Like to the point where I saw people calling for Brian Dable's job.
Yep.
Guys, we had 2 bad games back to back, meaning the Eagles game in the playoffs last season and Sunday night. It's not going to happen. Okay. I mean, that was I saw that and I'm just like, is this that I had to take 2 days off of Twitter?
Yeah.
I just stayed off of Twitter. All right. So, but since Smooth couldn't be here, besides the rant, he's dropped his keys to the game. So what we're going to do is we're going to play that for you now. And then Monty and I are going to come back and talk about that and kind of add some of our own. So let's kick it to Smooth.
Welcome, everyone, to another Smooth segment. This segment is brought to you by shakeitgolf.com. Get 15% off all of your golf needs using the promo code GOLFSHIT. Really wanted to make sure that you guys see that. You'll see it scrolling all the way through in this segment. Wanted to go give Smooth's keys to the game. So, number 1, right? Establish the run and stick with it. If we can establish the run the way we did in that first drive against Dallas, then we will be successful because the whole point of this offense is predicated around run first and establishing off of that, the play action comes in. Then we're passing on first down once you've established that run. But we have to stick with it. You can't give Saquon only 12 carries in this game. That's a travesty. That's the first thing. The second thing is utilizing play action. DJ's at his best when there's a threat for him to run past, but also on the quick play action. The read option, those quick hitters to now Darren Waller. I really don't have an issue with DJ rolling out, kind of shrinking the pocket a little bit. But at the same time, what's really important for me is Saquon first, DJ second in that order. That's 100% a key. The other thing is we have to let Wink blitz. How do we let Wink blitz? We have to stop James Conner against the Cardinals. We got to put the onus on Josh Dobbs out of my University of Tennessee to beat you. And I don't believe he can do that with his arm. I don't even think he can do it with his arm and his legs. Josh Dobbs is a good backup quarterback. Honestly, wouldn't hate on him if he was on our team as a backup because he can get you a win, but he shouldn't get you a win against a quality defense, which I think we all believe the Giants are. Despite giving up, not so we didn't give up 40 points because some of that was 14 of those were special teams in a defensive touchdown, but 26 points on the defensive side. I just don't think Josh Dobbs can put up the type of numbers that's gonna bother us there. And then last thing for me, guys, in this short segment is I think if we can't stop a guy who's been on, this is also about Dobbs, 7 different practice squads in his career, then we're seriously a 5-win team. If this becomes an L for us, then this is going to be a really sad year for us. It's going to be a sad podcast for the Big Blue Beards, for anybody that does it, because there's not going to be a ton of excitement throughout the year. But speaking of excitement, this is what I'm asking for, not because Sarge has him on his fantasy team. Set up Jalen Hyatt for one deep ball, like one a game, and have it be so it's disguised enough. Maybe you throw him one short initially and do kind of a stop and go because everyone kind of knows what his skill set is. But that's my guy, another University of Tennessee guy. Really need to see Jalen Hyatt on one deep throw from DJ. Let him do what he does best, both of them, and go Giants. I really have the Giants winning this game 27-17. If not bigger, because not because I'm a homer, but because 40-0 against the Cowboys, he flushed that down the toilet. These guys are pros. There may be some residual, it may be a slow start, but I don't see that happening or affecting them long term. Remember, 15% off shankitgolf.com, promo code GolfShit. Get your stuff. This is what this hat is from. I know some of y'all are worse than a bogey golfer, so this is actually an improvement hat for you. Yeah. Go Giants.
All right. So Smooth brought up a couple of good points. First of all, being the podcast, apparently we have a sponsor. This just happened today. Shankitgolf.com. Get 15% off all of your golf shit with the promo code golf shit. I don't know how any better to put that. So, Monty, do we want to let's talk about what Smooth had said. So first off, he's like, put the onus on establishing the run game and put it on Saquon Barkley. What do you think about that?
Yeah, man, I think that's the way to go. I was talking a little bit about Sal about this yesterday, and we're kind of speaking in the sense you can't let Jonathan Gannon get to you with this pass rush. This defense is not talented. They just have, just like Darius says right there, they have a coach who can design these exotic blitzes and can kind of trick your offensive line. And we saw enough of that last week. And we have, for as bad as our offensive line played last week, we had to get away from the run. They are good run blockers. Like even Evan Neal has shown a lot of success in the run game. He's had bad games, but typically he has succeeded. And Glowinski, that's the only thing he does well. John Michael Smith looks promising. Like we have a good run blocking. It's just the pass blocking. So if we can get Saquon going, I don't think they have the players on the defense to really hold up with us there. Obviously, Andrew Thomas' health will also factor on that. I'm going to feel even less confident passing the ball if we don't have Andrew Thomas. A nice healthy mix will be good if he's there. But personally, I would rather him just sit out. And it's not that I feel that confident against the Cardinals that he's our franchise player and we need him healthy.
Right. We don't want to risk Andrew Thomas any more than we have to. Granted, he's a I was going to say he's a gamer, but he is. I mean,
he wants to play.
Are you hurt or are you injured? Because if he's hurt, he's going to play. We know he's going to do it because he did it his whole rookie season.
Yep.
He played hurt. He had injuries last year too, but he played through most of them. And he still played to an all-pro level. And that's what we want out of him, but we don't want to risk long-term injury. And for those of you just joining us, while we were playing Smooth's video, Kirk Cousins fumbled. The Eagles scored again.
Of course.
Anyway. So again, so then Smooth's next. So I think establishing a run is very important, and there's a lot of different things that we can do to do that. We don't necessarily have to lean on Saquon for all that, because here's the thing. After last week's debacle, everybody's back to thinking Saquon is the focal point of this offense. The offensive line can't block long enough for Daniel to throw off. So it's either going to be Daniel running or Saquon running. But here's the thing. We've got speed guys all over the field. You can have, Jalen Hyatt, Paris Campbell on like end arounds or jet sweep type stuff where you're getting them in motion and handing the ball off to them instead of going straight to Saquon. So we've got speed on there. And God, I really hope, like he said, I'm going to skip to the last one. Can we get something for Jalen Hyatt? He had one target last week and it was behind him and he had to contort his body to try to catch it. And I see everybody on Twitter going, well, it hit him in the hands. He should have caught it. Were you watching the same game I was? When the kid has to turn 3/4 of the way around to at least try to make a play on the ball, put it in front of him. I mean, Jones had a stable pocket on that throw. He was seeing ghosts, all right. So then Smooth's next point was, play action with DJ. I mean, yeah, that's kind of his bread and butter, really.
Yep. And if we're running the ball, we'll get those play action shots that we can put up to a guy like Hyatt.
Defense. Defense was the next point that he made. And we've got the X factor. You see it all over Twitter today. Isaiah Simmons knows the whole playbook. So we're going to see a healthy dose of Isaiah Simmons this week. This is where I have a feeling that this is where he's really going to shine. He's really going to get after the Arizona's offense because he knows the play calls. I wouldn't be surprised. Like Monty, let me ask you a question. Would you be surprised at all if Isaiah Simmons had the green dot this week?
A little bit, but I get what you're saying. Like
Right. Or,
it's Isaiah Simmons revenge game, and he knows the offense, but he's going to be communicating with. He's going to be right in Bobby Okereke's ears, telling him what's happening.
Yeah, that makes a little more sense. So, I mean, let's face it. We brought Isaiah Simmons in here pretty much towards the end of the preseason. They can't go ahead and change all of the terminology for the offense in 2 weeks, because that screws everything up.
With a brand new quarterback.
With a brand new yeah, because they just brought in Josh Dobbs when they lost Isaiah Simmons, pretty much.
Touchdown Eagles.
What is this? Sal is just out of control right now.
See, 24 rushes for 112 yards, 1 touchdown, 4 receptions, 27 yards. And then we said Daniel Jones.
Oops. Yeah, I think we both clicked it at the same time.
Yep. 18 for 24, 135, 10 yards, 8 yard rushings. Yeah, I could see both of those. I mean,
yeah.
If we're gonna be leaning on the run game, Daniel Jones is gonna get his in it with almost 80 yards rushing, and that's almost 200 yards on the ground.
Yep,
so that'd be a hell of
totally
a day.
See that.
23-9 Cardinals.
23-9, right. Yeah. All right. Well, let's see, Monty. What else do we have, if anything, on the agenda, or what else are we looking for? What do we? So here's my thing. We've all been kind of talking over the course of the week about how we're feeling right now, and the Eagles just scored again.
Yep.
And Mal's I'm playing against Big Blue Mal this week in fantasy, and she's got Devontae Smith on her team.
Facing the New York Post star, Mal.
Yeah, the New York Post's own. Yeah. So she was nice enough. I have picks from her this week as well. So here's the thing about Mal is she couldn't do it tonight, but Mal is going to join us every Thursday throughout the regular season as part of our pick segment. I was going to try to rotate people in, but since Mal's agreed to do that, I think that'll be fun with us, and maybe we can get on her show anyway because she's famous now.
Yeah,
or at least semi. It's the New York Post. It's not the New York Times. Come on. So, what I want to see out of this game coming up is I need a big game from the defense. We know the offense is going to struggle. There's injuries on the line. We don't know like Andrew Thomas's status. I need the defense to come out and make plays. I said last week, I want to see pressure. I want to see some semblance of a pass rush because we really didn't have it last week.
Yep.
And let's face it, Dallas has had this insane offensive line for probably 45 years. It's just, you can't get through it, and I understand it, but I need to see something out of the defense this week, right? We're not playing world beaters here. This is something that we can get on them.
You're playing a team whose best PFF graded offensive lineman last week was Will Hernandez.
It's Will Hernandez revenge game.
It is Will Hernandez revenge game.
That's what the Cardinals. That's what the whatever the Big Blue Beards equivalent of the Cardinals podcast is talking about right now. Talking about Will Hernandez, Big Red Beards. That's a different podcast altogether. We don't want any part of those guys. Anyway, gingers are scary. Anyway, especially the bearded ones. Trust me, I know like 40. Anyway, but yeah, so like And what was Will Hernandez's PFF grade, Monty? Do you have any idea off the top of your head?
Not off the top of my head, but I remember it wasn't bad. I think it was like high 70s or something like that.
Well, it's a lot better than Mark Lewinsky's 1.
Yeah. and Paris Johnson Paris Johnson had a really good pass block grade, but he was not a good run blocker apparently, at least according to PFF.
Yeah.
Their rookie tackle.
Yeah. But I mean, again, these guys aren't like they're. It's not the Dallas Cowboys offensive line. It's sure as hell not the Philadelphia Eagles offensive line. And
look,
also, here's the thing too: is that you really look at that. So we're talking about off the lines and everything like that, but the somebody brought up a good thing that I saw is that not just because the Cardinals had 6 sacks last week, they don't have, again, a world beater defensive line either, because a lot of that stuff was Sam Howell getting out of the pocket and trying to improvise and play a little hero ball himself.
And holding the ball on too long.
Yeah, hold the ball way too long. Way too long.
And not that Daniel Jones doesn't do that too, but not to that level. At least not anymore.
Yeah, no.
He used to do that to that level.
That's 2019 Daniel Jones.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it was. It was 2019 Daniel Jones out there.
Pretty much. That's who Sam Howell is. So good looking out, Commanders fans. Maybe in 2 or 3 years he'll actually be able to do something.
Yeah. If you stick with that kind of patience, we'll see what happens over there. But no, I mean, I agree with you. I think look, Gannon's going to like scheme open pass rushes, and that's about the only way that defense is going to find success, is that they have a good defensive head coach. As far as offense, that offense isn't any good, and we should take total advantage of them. That's what we should expect.
We should.
I don't know if will happen, but that's what we should expect. Wink Martindale is known for what he does to the lower caliber QBs. We are facing Josh Dobbs. He can bring whatever package he wants and should expect that we can hold up and we can get to that line and get that pressure without Josh Dobbs making us pay. That's the hope. And I would like to believe that is what will happen.
Yes.
I feel good. Hope. I feel good in our rookie corners. They played pretty well. And I'll say, to take away from that, but also give credit why I think pass rush. Look, Dallas Cowboys have had a good line for a while. I honestly don't think it's quite as good as it used to be, but I think the bigger thing with that game was that they didn't need to pass the ball for us. They got up on us so quick. They just killed clock. They killed us with defense, and they got good field position, and they ran it on us, and they they got the passes here and there, but our corners played well. Our pass rush didn't really have a lot of true pass rush snaps. So I really want to see, a pissed off defense coming at the Arizona Cardinals. I want to see a lot of guys who just got punched in the fucking mouth and want to go punch this team in the mouth.
Jordan Addison just scored.
Yep. He should have been a Giant, but I like Deontay.
Should have been. Yeah. I mean, so when people start talking about how bad the game on Sunday was, one of the things that you could really kind of point to and as a positive is Banks and Hawkins both played really well. I mean, there was that. Oh yeah, Jordan Riley played really well too. It's like the rookies that we had on defense, at least, played really, really well. We knew Jordan Riley was going to plug the middle of that defensive line and be able to hold up on his own. But it was nice to see both Banks and Hawkins really kind of hold their own. And aside from a bad pass interference penalty, which was iffy at best.
Yeah, it was a flop. I mean, look,
I mean,
you can call that, but like maybe 1 time out of 10 that's getting called without the flop. But the flop, the veteran.
I mean, Sauce Gardner does that shit all the time. But anyway, so here's a funny thing is I just pulled up Josh Dobbs' stats from last week. He was 21 for 30 for 132 yards, and he was sacked 3 times. So again, he's not gonna kill us. He's not gonna kill you over the top. He's not. It's just that's not the way it works. So I think one of those things that Smooth was talking about is you gotta let Wink blitz. You gotta take the leash off of Wink and let him go, because if we're coming at him, they're not going to be able to establish a run game. He's not going to have time to drop back and at least try to get some passes off. I mean, we've got to be angry. That's what I want to see out of the defense. I want to see angry defensive play. Yeah. I've always been a defensive guy ever since I was, I'm a Big Blue Wrecking Crew guy. That's what I want to see. I grew up watching LT and Banks and, all of those guys, Harry Carson, just maul people. And that's what I want to see. That's New York Giants football. We run the ball and we just kill people on defense.
It's this simple. Let Josh Dobbs beat you. If you're gonna lose on defense, let Josh Dobbs do it by dicing you up. If Josh Dobbs can dice up this defense, we deserve to lose.
Yeah, exactly. What is this? Is this Jordan Addison slander?
Well, he's playing on the other people who. There's a lot of people who granted, had a great first week playing in the slot, as a lot of us said, say Flowers over Jordan Addison. But Jordan Addison was both me and Sal's wide receiver too. I believe he was your wide receiver too as well, Sarge.
He was my wide receiver too. That's only because right? No.
Oh, Jalen Hyatt?
Jalen Hyatt was my wide receiver.
Okay, you got your wide receiver one. I know you were a big Hyatt fan, but
I was. Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, my wide receiver one was definitely Jalen Hyatt, because I watched him all season. Addison was definitely my number two. JMS, I was a little iffy on it, especially because he was out with an injury. Elite Mitch. Come on now, Sal. You're better than this. You're a content facilitator now. You can't be, these kids are out there trying their best. Can't teach height. Doesn't work that way. He plays bigger than he is, so that's what you kind of.
I'll say this to play off to go back kind of what we're talking about. What Darius said right here is that I want linebackers tackling consistently. I'll say. No, who's a guy who did impress me, and all that fucking shit that we saw Sunday. Micah Parsons. I'm not Parsons. Sorry, Micah Parsons did impress me, but he also hurt me. Micah McFadden. He threw preseason. I didn't give that guy a single shot to be worth a damn. He was terrible last year, and through the preseason, he slowly earned the job. I'm like, look. I'm not expecting much, but Beavers wasn't good and he played well for preseason. So, he deserved the job, whatever. I wanted Isaiah Simmons will take it over eventually. And I still hope that happens. Simmons got more upside, but Mike McFadden played well. He was
11 total tacos, seven solo. He was out there balling, man. He and I will say this is there was a lot of, as much as the game got away from us early, the defense still went out there and tried their best. The offense couldn't get anything going. They couldn't stay on the field. The defense your guys are going to get gassed regardless. But,
I said it for
those guys went out there and they played.
Yeah, I said it for a lot of the game. And obviously, I think at the very end, the team gave up towards the end there. And, eventually the defense was still looking like they were getting beat. But for most of that, I was like, the defense is playing like they would keep an offense that was playing at a normal level in the game. If the Giants offense was just playing like an NFL offense, the defense was doing enough to keep you in the game. They weren't going above and beyond or anything like that, but they were keeping the team in the game. But there was no game
and they weren't kept in. Yeah, and they weren't getting any help on the other side of the ball, on the other two sides of the ball, because special teams.
Yep.
Anyway,
it was.
Did it again.
I'm definitely not as mad. Defense is definitely what I'm least mad at out of all the units.
That's usually how it's been for the past 2 years. It's never been the defense loses the game for us. It's always the offense doesn't hold up their end.
The only part of the defense I'm upset with is the pass rush, but like kind of mentioned already, there wasn't a lot of like true pass rush situations in that game. But I expected one guy I kind of am a little bit upset with is Leonard Williams. I felt that when you have an injured guard on that offense, you have Dexter Lawrence who commands double teams every single time he steps on a football field, that you expect the third highest paid player in the NFL to be able to make a difference there, and he just was a non-factor. So that did disappoint me. I'll say that.
Yeah. So as we're getting to about the 40-minute mark, I think it's time that we roll through some picks. What do you say, Monty?
Sure. So I'll pull it up here. I have the ESPN schedule here.
So excellent. All right. You got it? There we go. All right. And I have the ESPN schedule up here because that print is real small and I wear bifocals. Anywho.
Good.
Okay. So we already picked tonight's game. Mal, Monty, and I all picked the Eagles to win. Smooth picked the Vikings. And it's not looking real good for Smooth right now.
Yeah. I wish I was wrong.
Yeah, I wish I was wrong. So I'm going to run through everybody's picks, and then, Monty, you give me yours last so I can write them down. Okay, so Mal says Eagles, Packers, Bills, Ravens, Lions, Chargers, Bucks, Jags, Colts, 49ers, Giants, Cowboys, Commanders, Dolphins, Saints, Browns. Basically has the whole NFC East winning this week. Smooth said Vikings, Falcons, anyway, Bills, Bengals, Lions, Chargers, Bucks, Jags, Texans, 49ers, Giants, Cowboys, Broncos, Dolphins, Saints, Steelers. I going Eagles, Packers, Bills, Ravens, Lions, Titans, Bears, Chiefs, Colts, 49ers, Giants, Jets, Broncos, Dolphins, Saints, Steelers. Monty, go.
All right. So I'm going to start out with, obviously, I already picked Eagles, and it's looking good. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to go Green Bay. I'm going to go Buffalo. I am going to go bounce back game by Cincinnati. I'm going to go Detroit Lions. I am going to go Los Angeles Chargers. I will be going Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I'll be going Kansas City Chiefs. I will be going Indianapolis Colts, San Francisco 49ers, New York Giants, Dallas Cowboys, Denver Broncos, Miami Dolphins, New Orleans Saints, and the Cleveland Browns.
All right. So right now, current standings are Smooth and Mal are tied for first place with 10 and 6. I am in third with 9 and 7, and Monty, right now you're in the basement at 7 and 9. So
no,
let's see if
like the Giants.
Well, here's the thing, man. I mean, you're in the bottom of the pick'em, but you did score the most points in our Big Blue Beards fantasy league this week.
There we go.
We're not going to talk too much
about what I got.
I don't know. You've got the highest total. I have to navigate away from the stream.
I think it was like 180. It was like around there.
It was crazy. Yeah. It was ugly and crazy, and I feel sorry for whoever you played. And I lost because Josh Allen decided to turn the ball over 4 times.
Yeah.
So
get that. He misses
Brian Dable.
Brian Dable.
I mean, he looks as disappointed as Justin Jefferson does. These guys need a change of scenery. Justin Jefferson for Isaiah Hodgins and a 4th-round pick. Who says no? Probably the Vikings.
You know what? Hang on. While we're on the topic, I think I had a banger of a tweet this week. Let me play that for you. Speaking of Brian Dable and Josh Allen. So I tweeted.
Oh yeah.
I tweeted this. Here, I'll take this down. We're not doing this. I tweeted this earlier this week for Brian Dable and Josh Allen right now after Josh Allen threw his 4th pick of the game. I tweeted this. Brian Dable and Josh.
This is not the stove I know.
I would trade it all away if you'd come back to stay. This kitchen's not the same without you. It's just a great
All right, cut it, because I'm gonna get another email from YouTube saying we can't use shit.
It's true.
Hey, by the way, YouTube, I'm not editing out the Key and Peele sketch. It's just not gonna happen. Primarily because I don't know how, but I'm sure I could, but I'm not gonna because I don't have to. Anyway. Darius asked about predictions. Well, I kind of think we gave our predictions already. We already said that the Giants are going to win. Do we really want to give score? Do we want to do score predictions? Because we can totally do score predictions. Because Smooth did a score prediction. I believe he said, was it 27-17?
Solid.
See, that's the score I picked for the Cowboys game, and that's not a score I can pick again.
Yeah, I think I did 28-17.
I think I had 28-17, but it's too damn close, you know. And Sal said what 23-9. That's a good one. That's a weird one. If you think about it, that's what? That's 2 field goals. It's 2. Wait, you could do it with that's 2 touchdowns and 10-10. It's 20 and a field goal. Yeah. So that's 3 field goals and 2 touchdowns.
Yep.
And we don't know if Graham Gano is playing. And well, he's got 1 touchdown for Saquon and 1 touchdown for Jones. So that's 2. And I don't know. Is Jamie Gillen going to be kicking field goals for us or what?
Hopefully Gano's healthy.
Hopefully not. Hopefully not. So, I do actually think this was probably going to be a low-scoring game.
Okay.
I'm hoping it's not a low-scoring game for the Giants, because I kind of want a defensive touchdown. I'd really like an Isaiah Simmons or a Deontay Banks pick 6. Or that's I always want at least 1 defensive score because I'm a defensive brain guy and I need murder on the field. I was asking that because Man's reading. All right, gave my predictions. I gave mine already.
Maybe said it before you gave it.
Oh, maybe. I don't know. I just saw that. Anyway, I'm trying to be interactive with the chat and run the show and watch the game.
It's a lot going on.
I'm doing a lot over here. So, Monty, what's your score prediction? I'll let you go first.
My score prediction will be 31-10 New York Giants. They'll be out for blood, comeback game, and something I showed earlier on Twitter today. And look, I'm not saying the Giants are going to win Super Bowl for anybody who took it that way. That's not what I was saying. But New England Patriots with Brian Dable on staff, Week 1, 2003, lost the opening game 31-0. They came back the next week and beat the Philadelphia Eagles 31-10. History repeats itself, 31-10, New York Giants over the Birds. The Arizona Cardinals in this case.
Yeah, the other birds. Other birds.
The red ones.
The red birds. Well, that's a good one. 31-10. It's a nice round number to it. I'm gonna say Giants win because I already picked that. Let's go 27-9.
Okay. 3 field goals for the Cardinals.
Yep. I really don't think Dobbs can move the ball all that much. I think it's going to be they're going to try to establish the run, and we'll see what that can do. It might get them in. I don't even know who their field goal kicker is. I might pick him up in fantasy just because they're going to be kicking a ton of field goals and not extra points. So yeah, what did I say? 27-9.
You said 9. I know that.
Yeah. 27-9. That's where I'm going with it. All right, Monty. Do we have anything else that we want to rant about before we dip out for the evening?
Fire Bobby Johnson. Fire Thomas
We
McGahee. Giants are being
cover that. Okay.
Yeah.
So Bobby Johnson fired. Check. Thomas McGahee fired. Check. Beating the Cardinals. Check.
I think that nails it.
I think that nails it. So, guys, we want to thank you all for showing up for tonight. We want to remind you all to like and subscribe and hit the little bell so you know when we're going live, because it doesn't change. It's Thursday nights. Monty and I actually had a good idea that we had talked about last week after the show. Is we're always on Thursday nights during Thursday Night Football.
Yep.
Next week, the Giants play Thursday Night Football. So, we're going to do a watch party. We can't show the game because then we'll really get in trouble. And we are going to live react. We're going to drop a link in the chat so people can jump in the show and be a part of it. You don't have to have a beard to be included. We've had a bunch of people on here with no beards. We're going to tweet it out. We're going to talk about it all week long. Probably next week we'll talk about it after this week's over. We may not want to go and do a live reaction because we're 0-2 going into San Francisco. We don't know, but we'll see how it goes.
Yep.
So, and before we sign off again, I want to do this one more time because who knows? This might go somewhere. I don't play golf, but if you want golf shit, go to shankitgolf.com. Use the promo code GOLFSHIT for 15% off your purchase.
Get golf shit.
Get golf shit. I mean, it's self-explanatory. It's right down there. Also, one other thing I want to mention. Okay, this week that we are currently in, oddly enough, is National Suicide Prevention Week. Okay, so for those of you who may not know, every year I and my beard club that I'm in, yes, that's a thing. We do a walk to raise money and awareness for American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. If you go to my Twitter page, X gonna give it to you, my Twitter page, there is a link in my bio to donate money to American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. All of the money donated goes directly to the charity and all the great work that they do. I've been working with this charity now for almost 10 years. It's very near and dear to my heart. These people are out there trying to do what they can to help people by providing them resources, prevention hotlines, education, all of this stuff. And everybody's dealing with something. You got to remember that. So if you like me, go to my page, click on the link and donate some money. If you don't like me, go to my page, click on the link and donate to one of the other guys who are out there working with me on this, because this is something that's really important. It's, mental health awareness, veterans, everything like that. Somebody whether you know it or not, has thought about it at one point in time and another. Or I really wanted to bring the show down at this point. So click the link, go to my Twitter page, click the link in my bio. I'll even try to put the link in the comments here of the show as well. But help me hit my goal, because we're about a month out from the charity walk. But the great thing is I can raise money all the way up until the end of the year. I just like having that money there when I show up.
Yep.
And again, like I said, everything goes straight to the charity. I don't touch any of it. So for Monty, I'm your man, Mayhem. Enjoy the fourth quarter. This is going to get ugly, and we'll see you next week.
Just like Nick Sirianni's face. See you next week.
I want to see him crying.